There are basically two different kinds of numbers in Python. Let's go ahead and make a working copy of variables.py, and we'll look at them. Variables-numbers.py. We'll open our working copy, and we'll go ahead and define a variable, and we'll give it a value. And then we'll print that variable, and save and run. And you see we get that value. So what we have here is an integer type. So if I type num, and I'll also have num, so we'll get both the type and the value. We'll go ahead and run that. We see that it's class int and its value is 42. If I say 42.0, now its type is going to be class float. So those are the two different kinds of numbers in Python. You have integers and you have floating point numbers. If I take an integer like this and I say 42 divided by 9, I'm no longer going to have an integer. If I save this and run it, we'll see that I have class float and that it is this real number with a whole lot of digits after the decimal point. If I want to get an integer division, I can use 2 slashes instead of 1. And now what I'll get, instead of 4.66666, I will get just 4. You'll notice that it is not rounded up. So if I want it to be rounded, I can type round and give back the floating point division and save that and run it. And now we have it rounded up. It's a 5. I can give another argument to round and tell it how many digits I want it to round to. I can save that and run it, and now we have 4.67. In addition to the integer division with the 2 slashes, remember it was like this. If I save that and run it, we get the 4. We might also want the remainder, which is also called modulo, and that's with the % sign. So if I save that and run it, I have 6. That's the remainder after you do that. 42 divided by 9, it's 4 with a remainder of 6. If I have a floating point number, say 42.9, but I want to make sure that it's actually going to be read as an integer, I can say int of like this, and save that and run it, and I get just the 42 part. Likewise, if I have an integer number and I want the floating point representation of it, I can say float like that and save that and run it. And I actually get a floating point representation of the integer 42. Float and int are actually object constructors. These are constructors for those classes. So when I say float 42, what I'm actually doing is I'm creating an object of type float, and I'm giving it an initial value of 42 that's getting passed to the constructor. So those are the basic ways that you can use and create integers and floating point numbers in Python 3.